Are you fed up with your 9-to-5 job? Are you tired of worrying about where your next paycheck's gonna come from? Then stop. Financial independence, retire early, or FIRE is possible for just about everybody. And I'm talking about people that make well under 6 figures. What's going on? I'm Brandon from FinanceBuzz. And if you didn't know, here's a little secret. I'm technically financially independent. What that means is I don't need my job. I only work at FinanceBuzz because I love it and I do exactly what I want. And here's the thing, I do what I want because I have the choice to do what I want thanks to FIRE, and you can too. So if you're watching this still, you're probably thinking, great, what does FIRE and financial independence actually mean? So you're gonna see the word FIRE, F-I-R-E. Sometimes you'll see it F-I with a /R-E. And this is an acronym that stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And all this means is you have got to a point financially where you can live off of your passive investments. So that's real estate, we're talking your investment portfolio, ETFs, things like that. So you don't need a 9-to-5 job. You don't need to be part of that grind in order to survive financially. And when we say early, we're not talking about people that are 60 years old that retire 10 years early, because typically what is it, about 75 years old when people retire now? We're talking people in their 30s and 40s. I was actually 33 years old when I reached lean FIRE. So there's actually 3 different types of FIRE. There's lean FIRE, fat FIRE, and Barista FIRE. Those are the 3 primary ones people talk about. So let me define those for you. So the first one is lean FIRE. It's the one that most people reach early on because it's typically the easiest to do. That's technically what Marielle and I were 3 years ago. And all lean FIRE means is you make enough money passively from whatever, your investments, your retirement fund, whatever. You make enough money per month to cover your bills. The best way to determine this number, track everything. Track every single penny down to the penny. We did this for about 3 years and we came up with an average. We knew exactly how much we needed on average over 3 years to survive. So we made enough money to cover all that and then some, and we reached lean FIRE. So these are people that, like me, that just make just enough to live their current lifestyle, not make any changes. They don't live a crazy luxurious style, but you're technically financially independent. Number 2, fat FIRE. Fat FIRE is kind of the opposite of lean FIRE. Fat and lean, they're opposites. What fat FIRE means is these are people that have gotten to a point financially where they get to live pretty good, right? So these are people that even though they're financially independent, they don't have a 9-to-5 job, they can still drive a BMW or a Mercedes. Some of them drive Lamborghinis, Ferraris, really expensive cars because they have that type of money coming in. But these are people that typically don't make sacrifices to do, the FIRE movement. A lot of the times when you get involved with FIRE, you have to cut expenses and you have to do some things that your average person doesn't want to do. Fat FIRE people typically are people that get to do what they want. They have big food budgets, they have big entertainment budgets, they have big travel budgets, and they still have enough money to be financially independent and not worry about anything else. So fat FIRE tends to be the goal of a lot of people, but it's not as easily obtainable as lean FIRE. And then the third one you're gonna hear a lot about, regardless if it's with us at FinanceBuzz or somewhere else, is Barista FIRE. And what Barista FIRE means is, technically that's what I am today. It's somebody that is financially independent, but they still work a job. And the reason that this Barista FIRE came about is because one of the biggest hurdles with the FIRE movement or retiring in general is insurance, right? If you're watching this and you're an American, we have to cover our own insurance some way, shape, or form. And as you age, it becomes more and more important. When you're in your 30s or 40s, it's not quite as important, but if you've truly done the FIRE path from 30 to say 70 years old, when you're in your 70s, it's pretty important to have health insurance. So a lot of people will actually work a job, even though they're financially independent. The reason is it's nice to get some extra money, right? So you have some extra money coming in, period. But the main one is health insurance. So people, you could work at Starbucks or some small places and work part-time jobs and still be part of the program and get health insurance. So this became known as Barista FIRE. I personally think that this is a very important step between lean FIRE and fat FIRE. So I think it should go lean FIRE, Barista FIRE, Fat FIRE if you're gonna go through this path. But there's a lot of people that get to Fat FIRE and they just get bored and they go back to Barista FIRE for two reasons. One, again, the insurance, and two, they're willing to take a job that pays significantly less than what they need or they earned previously because it's something they're compassionate about. It's something they really want to do and make a difference. Again, I got lucky. I fell into FinanceBuzz. I get to do exactly what I love, and I have health insurance, so I kind of won double. So earlier on in this video, I said you don't have to be a six-figure earner. You can earn significantly less and still get to FIRE. A lot of people are probably sitting back and saying, I make $50K a year or less. There's no way I'm ever gonna be able to do this program. I have debt, I have bills I have to pay. Get that out of your head. Stop that thinking. I did it. I have never ever had a six-figure salary, period. I haven't. I've never been a high earner. I've always had, not always, but typically had a job that paid well. I've been about a $50,000 to $70,000 a year employee. So I'm not an engineer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a dentist. Those are three jobs that you'll see are very common for people in the FIRE space. So I'm a typical person that earns a typical average US salary, but I got to FIRE. How did I do it? Saving. It's not how much you make, it's how much you save and what you do with the money you make. And the other thing is, I reduce my expenses. So there's really three ways to get to FIRE. You make more money, you save more money, or a combination of those two. I, knowing that I'm not a huge earner, decided to save more money. Sure, I made more money by doing side hustles and other things. I would buy and resell things and flips, but my big secret, even today, is frugality. I mean, seriously, look at me. I wear FinanceBuzz shirts because the company provides them for me. My pants have holes in them. I'm sitting on a bucket. Okay? I'm sitting on a bucket because the bucket was free from me doing a renovation project on one of my houses. So I cut expenses to get to where I want to be. And yes, it may not be for everybody, and it may not be the ideal path for you. And if it's not for you, that's fine. But it worked for me. Me cutting costs makes it so an average person like me has the freedom to make choices. And in a few years, I'll be Fat FIRE. And when I'm in my early 40s, I'll be retired, making $12,000 a month in passive income, which is my Fat FIRE number. And I'll get to do what I want and live a little bit better lifestyle. So these small sacrifices I'm making now is absolutely worth it. And it means that you, me, and the average person can absolutely get to FIRE. So real talk for a minute here. It is easier if you are a high earner. And I think there's gonna be a lot of comments below that say, Brandon, I only make $50K a year, there's no way. The number one thing you need to do, start getting rid of debt now. Start learning how to save more money, one way, shape, or form. If you gotta cut and make some sacrifices, do it. It's absolutely possible, and I think everybody can sit back and really do a deep budget and really get down to the nitty-gritty and figure it out. So the next question in this is, okay, Brandon, I'm willing to try this, I'm willing to save. How much should I be saving? The answer is as much as possible. That's the way you need to be doing this. You need to stop, sit back and say, how much money can I save? Set a target and work to beat that target. A lot of people in the FIRE community, their numbers are 50 to 75% of their income. So if you make, let's just use $100,000, you make $100,000 a year after taxes, let's say you clear $70,000 a year. These people are working to save no less than $35,000 a year of their income. And when I say save, I mean invest. So that money, they're not just saving it and leaving it in a bank account. If you're gonna open a bank account, which a lot of us do, and you're gonna let it sit, at least make sure it is a high yield savings account. If you're looking for a couple ideas, we have articles on financebuzz.com that I will drop in the comments below. But the other thing is, you wanna really be investing that money. So 1 or 2% in a bank account, whatever it is, that's all right. You're more or less covering inflation. You're probably gonna lose the inflation, but you need to be investing. That's the reality of it is. I have real estate. Real estate's done very, very well for me. I also have ETFs and mutual funds. I do have a couple what I call active stock marketing and brokerage accounts. I don't play with those much because I'm not good at it. So if you're not good at the stock market and you don't want to be a day trader like me, like a lot of people in this space, get a robo account, do a Vanguard, get a Schwab, get something like that you can invest in large ETFs and mutual funds. But whatever you do, make your money work for you. Look at your money as soldiers. You're sending them out. They're going to go out. They're going to work for you and bring you more money back. You should go to bed every day richer than you were when you woke up that day. Now, the other side of things, let's say saving isn't your thing. right? You're looking at this saying, Brandon, there's no way I'm going to get rid of whatever it is. You drive a new car, you have a payment on it, and you say, Brandon, you're a complete idiot. There's no way I'm getting rid of it. Cool. I get that. Look, I was a car person. I do like food. Obviously, I'm a hefty guy, okay? I get that there's a lot of people that aren't willing to make those sacrifices. So let's talk about earning more money, because that's the other way to get to FIRE. So when we're talking about this, you need to be thinking more than just about getting a raise. We're not talking about your 3%, 5%, or even 10% a year raise. If you're watching this and you're paying attention because you're an average person, you're making what? $40,000 to $70,000 a year, even at 10% a year. So let's say you make $70K a year and you get a $7,000 a year raise at 10%. And that, I think 10% raise is really high, generally speaking, but $7,000 a year. Take away inflation, start talking about taxes, start talking about other things that come into play. And it's not really that much money. So you need to think outside of your salary. How else can you bring in money? Like I said, invest your money. That is a bulletproof way. We're talking ETFs, mutual funds. One that I think a lot of people don't talk about is your HSA. So if you have a health insurance plan that qualifies for an HSA, take advantage of this. This is essentially a triple tax protected account where money going in, money earning interest, and money coming out are all essentially tax free. So you gotta start thinking of other ways to earn income. And let's say you max out your 401k and your Roth and your HSA and you still have money coming in. You're somebody that's a relatively high earner. How do you make more money? Get creative. Like I said, real estate is a great way to create passive income. You can do flips of homes. There's a lot to that, but that's something a lot of people in this space do. You can take a second job. You can do side hustles. You can invest in syndications. You can do hard money lending. There's all these different ways to earn money outside of your salary, and you need to stop and look at those. Pick something that you think you can be good at, dive in, do the research, and start making money that way, because typically your salary isn't going to be enough if you aren't willing to save and you're not a high earner. You need to have a secondary, third, fourth, fifth stream of income. So important. One other thing I feel like I really need to mention, I touched on it earlier, but I want to kind of harp on this, is you need to remove obstacles to do this. And what that means is two things. So kind of a twofold thing here. So first of all, surround yourself with people that understand. If you have a partner or family or friends that aren't a part of this space, they're probably going to think you're crazy. They're going to think you're a little weird, right? Like FinanceBuzz just launched a new show called Weird Finance, because what we do and what we talk about is a little bit outside of the ordinary. And a lot of people looking in don't think this is normal. So who you surround yourself with is really important. So find yourself a good community. We have FBZ Money. It is a group ran by FinanceBuzz that we talk about this stuff day in and day out. So find yourself a community, regardless if it's us or somewhere else, people that you can talk to, bounce ideas off of, and learn from. And the second thing is, when I'm talking about removing obstacles, I mean debt. I think that's the easiest way to say it. Like legitimately get rid of your debt. That is going to kill you. I know it's easier said than done, but guess what? I did it by not going out to eat, not buying new clothes, not having a nice car. I got rid of my student loan debt. I got rid of my credit card debt. I got rid of my other stupid debt that I have. I'm not somebody that was born into money. I blew $100,000 inheritance because I had no idea what to do with my money. I got over $100,000 and still ended up in like $35,000 debt out of college. I was a train wreck. And it is what was stopping me from making good, smart decisions. So I decided to save and get rid of my debt. The second you get debt free and the second you surround yourself with people and listen to people that are in this space that are willing to help you and you're willing to learn, it's going to open doors. Everything is going to change. So please remove the obstacles, get yourself to a good spot, find a good podcast, find a good book, find a good community, get involved and commit. So that was a lot. It was a real, we kind of compacted everything together. There's a lot more to this. There's a lot of logistics and there's a lot of technical details that go into this. It's not just going to happen overnight, but I do think at its simplest form, saving more, spending less, earning more, and surrounding yourself with good people and removing the obstacles like debt are what you need to do. I get that this isn't for everybody. I'm not saying this is the only way. I'm not saying it's the right way. I'm saying it's a way to be smart with your finances. It works for me. It's the same thing as credit card points and miles. There's no one way to this. Make a hybrid method. Take some of the Dave Ramsey, take a little bit of the FIRE community, mix it together if that's what works for you. That's fine. But understand that today, tomorrow, yesterday, start now. So if I haven't scared you away, one last piece of advice. have a plan. I don't care if we're talking points and miles, we're talking finance, you always need to have a plan. It's so important. Part of that plan, please like our video, subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and check out our other videos if you haven't already. Join one of our communities. We have FBZ Elite Travel and Points, which is our points and miles community. We have FBZ Money, where we talk about FIRE, side hustles, all these things related to this video. So please join FBZ Money. Come in, ask questions. We'll do everything we can to help you. And if you don't feel like doing that, leave a comment below. I'll do my best to go in and help you out, give you the proper article on FinanceBuzz.com that will hopefully help you out. See you next time.